MedBix Webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming.
So actually, this is a story of three women in 1883. They came to the United States to study medicine. It's a 19 and 20-year-old people, three of them. I can tell you that is their story. I'm going to explain to you who are those people are and where they came from. Life in America in 1885. So I tell you that I need to give you some kind of a background. What is the life in America at that time? The Statue of Liberty is not even installed. It is just arrived. AT&T was incorporated, at the time. Wyoming white miners killed Chinese co-workers for the discriminatory problems and all those things. So racial violence. It's happened in 1885. So after that, America year 1885, transportation, there is no cars, there is no automobiles. Those are all horse buggies. You have to go from Philadelphia to New York. You have to go by horse buggy or a train probably. So there's no indoor plumbing. Women have to go outside, there's all those things. This is like India. It reminded me back in India at the time when I was growing up. So just 20 years ago, slavery, just 20 years after the slavery, that's 1885. These women came from Thomas Edison just in the prime age. He was deploying electrical lines in the Rochelle, New Jersey. Near Rochelle is very close to the Edison itself. Thomas Edison, the city of Edison. It is not that far from Thomas Edison. That's why it's named after him. Thomas Edison, that city lines electrical lines were first one in the United States were deploying there. My brother is an electrical engineer, and my family has a lot of electrical engineers there. So what kind of diseases in 1883 and 1885? There is same usual suspects. Cholera most of them are bacterial because they are sanitation problems. Cholera is one of them. The typhoid is all the bacterial. Malaria is one of that is from mosquitoes. Yellow fever, that's the only thing viral, I think. Whooping cough and tuberculosis, all bacterial infections. That's all big in 1883. So these are there is no NIH. There used to be National Board of Health, 1879. Just they abandoned in 1883. They closed that National Board of Health. This used to be called. So you learn a lot from history. For example, so what they do in pain medication, they use opium, morphine, and then cocaine is, people, there is a strange, cocaine is a pain medication at the time. Fever, there's a antipyretics, it's like a bark, the willow bark, that's called, they used to give for the fever. Skin is a camphor. This is like old grandmother used to give all these things to you. Those are all the same thing they were doing that at the time in 1883. So what is the medications available at the time? There is only Johnson & Johnson came out in Band-Aid at the time. That's a Band-Aid that came out. That's not the right one. On the left side one is the one very Band-Aid just came out. That's the only thing is, that is anti-infection. That's okay. Then can reduce the infection, stop So there is a first women's college of Pennsylvania started in Philadelphia downtown. That is now Dexter University campus. That is right now Drexel University campus. That is a building, 3-story big house. It looks like a big house, but 3-story. The biggest, tallest building at the time is 10-story building in Chicago, near Sears Tower. 10 stories is the tallest building. This is a 3-story building. Is Women's College of Pennsylvania. It's a downtown. I've been there. I've been to that campus. Now there is nothing left. They put the Drexel University. The library is there now. You can go and visit the city. So there is 3 people came from for the study medicine in the United States. Usually they go to England, but they came to United States. When she came, she's Ananda Joshi. She's from city of Pune, India. She's near Mumbai. She came from there. She's 19 years old. She came to study in the United States to study medicine. So she enrolled in the University of the Women's College of Pennsylvania. Then, I tell you where Gandhi was. Gandhi was not even a high school. He was not Gandhi was not Gandhi. Nobody knows. He was in high school. She came to United States. Think about that. So there is another one, Sabat Islambuli. She came from Damascus, Syria. That she's a Kurdish Jewish woman. She came to study medicine along with Joshi. She is a Kurdish Jewish origins in the region that, as you know, that now part of the Iraq and Turkey, the Iran and Israel. There's a lot of Kurdish Jewish people are there. You people don't know that they have their own celebrations. They do their festivals. In fact, so there is another lady came from Kei Wakami. She's from Tokyo, Japan. She is a traditional Japanese medicine at the time. Is Kampo is a Chinese traditional medicine, basically just a modified little bit. They all came in ships through the missionaries. They came through Christian missionaries. In fact, so they all three came. Life in that is a microscope. At that time, they had a microscope. So they had a life in Women's Medical College of Pennsylvania is a very interesting all woman. That is only time the woman let them go to school is because that only OBGYN, gynecology, obstetrics. So that they wanted to give their permission to that. That's why they gave it to them. That's why they did that. So they let a few women to go to school for the medical school. But the courses are very similar: anatomy, physiology, and the materia medica. They call pharmacology. They're more or less all the courses are expanded now, but basic courses are same. The sanitation is the biggest thing at that time. This bacteria, they know that existence of bacteria and the viral microbiome, micro things they know about already at that time. So all the girls are having a fun. They're playing with all the skeletons. They're not afraid of it at the time. That's funny. They were not afraid of the skeletons and bones. They had a lot of fun. So that is all the girls' school, girls' dormitory, I think. you know. So she's a Joshi was the only one. They're all moved. The Islambuli and then Japanese woman and Syrian woman. They are Christian. They converted to Christianity. Only woman who is not converted to Christianity is a Joshi. That's why she was a Hindu. She wrote about pregnant woman in India, how to get the Ayurveda, and she wrote her final thesis on Ayurveda. She did that in the Ayurveda. She wrote the complete thesis along with the allopathy English medicine. At the time, the biggest debate was C-section debate, to be or not to be. Whether you should do or not is a huge debate. Natural selection, a natural thing has to do. It is C-section. Some strong Christian religious leaders were arguing against C-sections. It was a big debate. But it was, thank God, it resolved. But C-sections were good for certain cases, certainly. But now, that you see, Ayurveda, she wrote that very interesting, as the importance of the obstetrics can be, recounted only by the value of life and the health. So it's both are paramount importance. And she wrote she's a very prolific writer for her age. Joshi was a prolific writer, and she wrote that actually in that sense. You need to give a clear understanding of these C-sections and all those things, and their life givers, women are. So we have to pay utmost importance to those kind of medicine. Ayurveda is basically herbal medicine and also different kind of plants and everything. So actually, we know now the pregnancy is a very, very heart and lungs. They do 30 to 50% work harder. There's almost the endurance test for a woman, during the pregnancy. I didn't know that as a man. We don't pay attention to it. 30 to 50% heart and lungs work harder than before. Can you believe that, guys? Think about that, guys. We think we don't know that all those things. Now we're realizing I have two kids. I didn't realize it. Now I'm realizing it now after studying these things. So live births are 30% now. That is, I think C-sections are kind of overdone nowadays. But there's a disadvantage of the C-sections. Is the microbiome research is showing that when you do birth canal, the babies cannot break down the sugars. So let me go back 1 second. Babies cannot break down the sugars, so they need the microbiomes, that's which is stay in the gut and the birth canal. So the woman, when she's giving a birth, she gives these microbiomes to the baby. So in one of the problem is the microbiomes can be wiped out from that process. That's why we see a lot of allergies. One of the complaints is that because of the C-sections, there may be possibility, there may be a lot of these allergies and all those asthma and other things. They're saying diseases are more prone now, the babies are. So microbiome plays an important role. These are the bacteria, fungi, and viruses. They give mother gives the baby when they through the birth canal. Actually, sterile in the placenta. Inside the placenta is sterile, completely sterile. Once she comes out, she has to give those microbiomes to the baby so she can break the sugars out. That's what my understanding was. So Ananda Joshi wrote a very powerful thing. She was kind of famous. The reason was she did not convert into Christianity. So the whole America paid a lot of attention in 1885. All the American press were paying attention. They wrote books on her. They wrote articles on Philadelphia Inquirer. There is a lot of things came out in the about her because she was wearing sari and bindi and all those Indian traditional clothes. So they're all Ananda Joshi. She was a very short-lived. She was sick by the time she came down here. She stuck with the most likely tuberculosis, and she died at the age of 25. She went back to India, the Pune, city of Pune, and she died immediately. In fact, not too many months she lived. She said that all I could do, I did it. She said that actually Queen Victoria gave her from England, gave her, send her a telegram saying that congratulating her graduation. But all of them are got MDs. Sabat Islamabali, she went back to Damascus, Syria. Then we don't have much information about her in the history, doesn't have a lot of information. She moved to Cairo, got married and moved to Cairo. Then we don't know anything about her after that. This is unfortunate that we should know. And Kai Wakami, she stayed for a while in the United States. She did some externships here in the United States in some Chicago hospital. And then after that, she moved back to Japan in Tokyo. She started a clinic, her own clinic and hospital. She is the only one who lived long enough. So she lived until the age of 90. She died in 1941, actually. Kai Wakami, that is her picture of that you see. That she was the only one lived long enough and had pictures from that time. We don't have any other history from there. These are the women they went through so much to come down here and become a doctors. That is fascinating, right? So the reason was Ananda Joshi. We have a lot of extensive literature on this 25-year-old. She didn't even practice medicine. Immediately she died at the age of 25. So actually there is a lady, it's a Boston socialite. Her name is Caroline Dahl. She is a feminist and non-fiction writer. She wrote a biography on the Ananda Joshi. She wrote Anandabai Joshi. She wrote a biography. It's available actually free. You can read it in the online. So she wrote about this 25-year-old woman. What she says in that book is that she has a prolific writer. She spoke English very well. She met her actually a few times. Caroline Dahl. She met her actually, and then she said that she spoke English very well, and she's a very powerful in expressing and writing. She was writing a very communicating excellent. She was writing letters to her and her family back in, and she's a Marathi woman. She wrote a lot of Marathi language and Marathi in Indian language, Hindu dialect. She wrote the letters back there, and I hope somebody publish it. Now I don't know much about it, but she wrote a lot of letters. She communicated very well about the allopathic, the American medicine, and then practices here in healthcare practices, and then Indian medicine. She communicated back to the Ayurveda, to the American medicine medical school. Then there's Dr. Professor Sarah Ross Kapit. She wrote a thesis, finally a thesis on her PhD. She wrote Educating Women Physicians of the World in 1883 to 1911. A fascinating read. You must read it. I can send it. It is a free, available online. It is one of the, it's like a spy novel. You see that how that woman went through the things, that how they defied all the hardships, and completely different things. At the time, Sarah's mom, she would not eat a pork, and the Hindu woman, she's a vegetarian. All these restrictions, it is a really tough. I know how they survived and became a doctors is a tribute. So Dr. Joshi, I have a t-shirts and everything you can buy online. That's why Ananda Joshi, that's only one I have. I don't have anything else on the other woman. I will do that for you. Actually, when I was talking with Laura is talking about physician burnout. They said that she said that very interesting thing. Laura said that it is that is a patient satisfaction is a powerful weapon for the physician burnout, to reduce the physician burnout. I'm going to bring her back. Yes, there is a Mother Teresa said that is a spirituality made her the serve the humanity. The Mother Teresa was a medical nurse. She was a nurse actually. She was trained nurse. She got trained in nursing. She said that so they call it now. There is a name in the medical dictionary. It's called Mother Teresa effect. If you focus on spirituality, and then as Laura saying that that satisfaction towards the patients can make a difference. Let me bring Laura, and I'll ask her what she thinks about it, and then let me bring her back. And 1 second. One second, I'm playing still. Hey, Laura, welcome back.
Hi.
What do you think? It is a very, they think about women coming from other countries because to get an MD, how much pain they went through.
Yeah, I mean, back in those days, it's crazy. So I didn't grow up in the US either. So I totally understand, coming to the US in a new culture around interesting new people. It's certainly an added challenge for sure. And I can't even imagine what it would have been like a couple of 100 years ago now.
100 years ago, yes. So Laura, so you're a physician entrepreneur. So what you're trying to, what are you doing nowadays? What is your venture?
Yeah, so I have a very strong mission for physician advocacy, having seen and experienced what physicians go through. So, what I do is I help match physicians with practices that will treat them well. So, I do this in a few ways. I work with physician-owned private practices, and I vet them and make sure that I really feel like they would treat their physicians well. It is very rare when I come across a practice that I feel like, it's not something I can work with if I don't feel like they'll treat their physicians well. But I work with practices that I do feel like would be a good place for a physician to work, and I go out and I help them find those doctors. It's very hard for smaller practices that don't have the giant budget and time that the large hospital systems do to find their physicians. And at the same time, the physicians are joining the big corporations that aren't treating them very well. So I help those physicians find practices as well. And, bonus, if it's one of the clients that I'm working with, one of the practices that I really feel will treat their physicians well. If a physician does want to or is interested in joining a hospital, then we work together on making sure that they really advocate for themselves in the process. And I think that's absolutely huge. I think that, if the physicians learn that we have a choice and we don't have to accept whatever we're given or sign whatever contract we're given, and be able to look at it critically and be able to advocate for ourselves in the process, I think that a lot in the system can change.
This the 9 to 5 concept is coming down, is crumbling down. These areas of 9 to 5 concept, people are wanted to work whenever they want to work, whatever they want, whatever the times they want to work. That is going to be the future. Not only, particularly for physicians, particularly they do anyway all the times, but it is going to be more and more that people are going to have freedom. I wanted to take off next week. I want to go to the vacation to, I want to go to Mexico and have fun. They don't have that. They don't have that. So that a lot of these big corporations, they don't have that flexibility sometimes, so that you could provide that they can work anytime they want to work before commitment, and then say, hey, I am available these times, and then I don't need to work. You can facilitate that process, right?
Potentially, what you're talking about is locum tenens. So, yeah, if there's a practice that's looking for locum tenens physicians, absolutely, I'd be able to facilitate that for sure.
You're doing a permanent placement, that you're talking about permanent placement?
I do permanence, yeah.
So, but let me ask you the follow-up question on that one. Is a tough one. Is that a lot of private practitioners in Texas, you have lots of private practices. In one of the challenges is that they're getting older. All the patients, all the doctors, usually the younger physicians. Now I see most of the people who are coming out of the school, they're not starting their own practices. They all go straight to work for a big healthcare system. So, for example, in California, I used to live in California in the Silicon Valley. It is a Kaiser Permanente, Stanford, Palo Alto Foundation. They took over. Even in Texas, is becoming that's bigger. So, what do you think that would they continue to eventually they take over the practice? Do you suggest that, so the older doctors starting practices, that is, or you sell them, you buy and sell the practices in that direction, or just to find a placement right now?
Are you saying, do I help physicians find doctors to buy a practice?
So what I'm saying is, most of the doctors who are looking for other doctors in independent practices, most of them are very older. They're not young people anymore, because they're not coming to starting their own practices. So how do you match that? Eventually they may retire, they may take over this practice. Eventually, that is your goal?
Yeah, so it depends a lot on the practice itself. So some practices are looking for physicians to be a partner. And so in that case, what I do is I work with physicians looking to learn or be a part of the business side of medicine, because being a partner means that you kind of take on the business responsibility, and a lot of it just depends on what the practice itself would match well with. Some practices aren't looking for someone to be a partner, and in that case, someone who's looking for partnership would not be a good fit for them. So it really all depends on what the practice itself is looking for, as far as matching them with the right doctor.
How do they reach you, Laura? What is your website, and what is the name of the website?
My website is www.happydayhealth.co. And there is a contact form on there for people to contact me. Typically, I'll get back to people within a few days directly, or every now and then I'll have one of my assistants help out with that if I'm a little busy.
So do you check all the credentialing and you do all the stuff actually? Do you have any help? Are you doing the whole work, or is just matching the right people to right people? That's main focus right now.
Yeah, so I do most of the work. I do have a couple assistants that help out, a few assistants that help out with a lot of the background things that I do as well. But as far as the person-to-person, that's all me.
Okay. But, it's good. That is what entrepreneurs do. Just do the quality that you provide, other than a bigger healthcare system. Everybody's a number. What you're saying is you're paying a personal attention to all these doctors and then see what they want. I used to place doctors. I can tell you, it is just unbelievable. They want to know where the high schools are, where the real estate is, where the houses are. I went through where the food restaurants are, where ethnic places are. It is just a challenge in itself, that you do that. Hats off to you. I think that I went through a lot of pain on that one. Hats off to you on that one. It is a more of psychology matching then skill matching is the last small part of it. Psychology matching is the bigger part of it.
Well, I'm fortunate because they're my people. So I think the same way. It's not even, it's not tough for me because I am one of them. I mean,
Correct.
I think like that. So, if they want to know where the schools are, well, of course they do, right?
They
Like,
do.
doesn't everyone?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Well, thank you so much for joining with us, Laura.
Science is real. We brought vaccines with unprecedented speed to face the present global pandemic. But it is not possible without the help of great giants of science and medicine from the past. We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. This is Jennifer, Vice President of Branding at MedBricks. Microsoft founder Bill Gates says, reading about history of science and learning about scientists of the past are an integral part of understanding and appreciating the true science.
If you want to learn science, reading the history of scientists and the story of scientists about when they were confused and what tools or insights allowed them to make the progress they make. So you have the timeline, or you have the map, or you have the branches of science and what's known and what's not known. So incremental knowledge is so much easier to maintain in a rich way than...
Talking about scientists, Marie Curie certainly is on top of the list. Despite public shaming about her affair with a colleague, she won the Nobel Prize twice. She designed the first ever medical mobile X-ray trailer called Petite Curie. It saved countless lives during World War I and subsequent wars. She was a prolific scientist and a true feminist of her time. C.V. Raman, scientist from India, and his discovery, called Raman scattering, is fast becoming an invaluable instrument of a diagnostic tool in medical imaging. His discovery is omnipresent in every area of medicine. Paul Dirac of England scribbled a mathematical equation that paved the way for present-day medical wonder called positron emission tomography. It is referred to as PET scan, which is widely used in detecting tumors and cancers with the utmost precision. History might have forgotten Dr. Yallapragada Subbarao, but his contributions to the world of medicine is hidden everywhere. This Indian-born medical scientist created the first ever chemotherapy drug called methotrexate that saved countless children with leukemia. Now, the drug is being widely used for other types of cancers. It is also used in the treatment of ectopic pregnancies, rheumatoid arthritis, and several other conditions. He is instrumental in creating the first broad-spectrum antibiotic drug called tetracycline. Let us bring this iconic man, Dr. Yallapragada Subbarao, who comes from a small town from the state of Andhra Pradesh, India, to the front lines of world history through Daily Wear for Medicine t-shirts. With extraordinary data analytical skills, might have been known as a lady with a lamp in the history books. She was the first woman to use population health analytics to fight infectious diseases. That is Florence Nightingale. British-born aristocrat Florence Nightingale championed the welfare of wounded British soldiers during the Crimean War. She put forward a detailed sanitation infrastructure plan for India to prevent mosquito-bitten malaria and other communicable diseases. She is a brainy mathematician who happened to be a nurse with unbounded compassion to fellow humans. We at Daily Wear for Medicine honor Florence Nightingale through this t-shirt representing every nurse and nursing student following their footsteps of the Nightingale Pledge. We at MedBricks are bringing these remarkable stories through visual art with our patented designs called Daily Wear for Medicine. T-shirts, conference bags, and other forms of merchandise are available through popular online networks. Creating visual art is one of the defining characteristics of the human species. We hope it creates awareness and reiterates confidence in the field of medicine, particularly in times of crisis we are in. We hope you join us in this journey in paying tribute to the contributions made by scientists and physicians alike. Thank you for watching. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.